I'm going to agree with Mr. McGovern, and we seldom agree, Mr. McGovern, but the fact this is silly and the fact that the seriousness, why don't we get serious? This is a silly attempt by the Biden administration to make the American consumer buy something. Jeff said it just right, at what cost? And I sat through a previous, we shouldn't even be having to deal with letting government bureaucrats tell consumers what they want. And the fact that, you mentioned getting serious, what about and you mentioned the deaths in Ukraine, what about the seriousness at the border? What about the deaths of the Americans through fentanyl? What about the crime that's running that this administration is promoting? What about that? And you talk about the Constitution, I think it's we the people decide, not bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. And Jeff, you hit it just right. At what cost? You can make, I was talking to a liberal not long ago, and they wanted to make a car so no one gets killed in it. You can do that at what cost? These electric vehicles are a joke. Roger Williams is burying it. He's literally burying a car because no one wants it. You can try to force government down the throats of the American people. That's why they're sick and tired of this administration doing this. It's an assault on our very freedoms. It is about freedom. And it's being taken from us. And God only help us if we have to stand another 4 years of this insanity. That's what it is. To think, I would have never in my wildest dreams would think the government was, and you, Mr. Plum, you quote trillions of dollars. You let the American people decide, pick what they want. That's freedom. And, the bureaucrats that are saying this is so wise, that's not their expertise. The people want government out of their lives, out of the way, and get back to the basics, which is why his approval, this Biden administration approval numbers have not hit rock bottom yet. They're sick of it. So to even have to deal with this, the Biden administration is making us deal with it, and thank God we're fighting it. I yield to Jeff.
I think Mr. Norman's exactly right. Mr. McGovern, when Republicans talk about freedom and liberty, we talk about it in the spirit of our founding fathers. And that's true liberty and freedom. Freedom to choose, freedom to innovate, freedom to be entrepreneurs, freedom from big government. And what we see now in the United States of America is a far cry from what our founding fathers envisioned. They envisioned a small central federal government handling 17 enumerated powers defined in the Constitution of the United States. We're way beyond 17 enumerated powers in the United States government now. A government which is telling American consumers and manufacturers what they can buy and what they can manufacture. Because Big Brother thinks best. Big Brother knows best. We're from the government and we're here to help. That's not what the founding fathers envisioned. They envisioned a very limited federal government. And we have a free market capitalist society. Regardless of what the socialists around this country and around this town want to believe, we still have a free market capitalist society. And innovators and entrepreneurs are building the products that American consumers want, but yet we see a continued push by big government down on the American people, telling them what kind of cars they have to drive, telling them what kind of appliances they can buy, the only appliances they can buy, telling them they can't catch rainwater off their own roof for use in their homes. That's what too much government gets you. We get situations like this where big government has said, you can't have a gas stove. Even though gas is very efficient for cooking, ask every restaurateur out there, they would rather have a gas stove cooking the meals that we eat at those restaurants. Consumers would rather have a gas stove in their home to cook on and would rather have something that they can rely on in the dead of winter when the electricity has gone out because snow has taken down a power line. They still have a gas appliance in there to help heat their home, whether it's a gas HVA system or whether it's a gas logs in the fireplace that they can rely on. And natural gas is affordable, and we're blessed in this country with an abundance of it, but yet we see big government continued to tamp down the fossil fuel industry because of some sort of political agenda embracing climate change, and it's time to get the big government off the throat of the American people and the American manufacturing. That's too much government, and I'll tell you again, when we talk about freedom and liberty, we talk about it in the spirit of our founding fathers, and that's a limited central government, not what we're seeing today, and I thank the gentleman for yielding.
Will the gentleman yield?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall my history where Thomas Jefferson or any of the founders talked about freedom for refrigerators or liberty in laundry.
No, they talked
And
about
if you
freedom
wanna-
and liberty.
The gentleman talked earlier about the low approval rating of the current president. You know what the approval rating of Congress is? It's something like 15%.
It should be lower than that.
Right, well, you guys are in charge. It should be lower than that. I agree with you. But I just point that out because I'm not sure how low anybody can go. We're leading, you guys are leading that way. So anyway, I thank you, the gentleman, for yielding, and I'll yield back.
Well, all I'll say is freedom is quickly being eroded by this administration. If I have to get asked one more time, gas appliances came up. Why are gas prices where they are now? Why are we having to fight for everything? There's been no savings on anything. Everything under this administration is up. And Americans, the only good news is they're sick and tired of it. And to cap it all off, at the end of this month, the World Health Organization, this administration will lock us down. If he gets by with it, we'll lose our sovereignty over and give it to countries that are controlled by China. It's a joke. And if it'd be so serious, it would be a joke if it wasn't so serious. So we'll fight. And the good news is there's a number of us here that are going to fight this. And there's a growing number of Americans who are sick and tired of government. Thank you for both of you for being here, and I yield back.